Meanwhile, in the pod cave.
And welcome back to another edition of the Podmen. I'm Brad.
I'm Brian.
I'm Ron.
And we're back, and we've got a action-packed movie and TV reviews. We've had a little bit of a dry spell, but we may be back.
It's over.
It's over.
Yeah, the dry spell is over.
Yeah, we are all wet about the boys now. But before we do that, we've got vacation update news, which I don't have a theme song for. But before we get to all of that, let's go to the news. And on the news front, Brian, we went over, Podman Ron cut a couple of stories. Our editor-in-chief cut a couple of stories. But you've got a few things, movie, TV, and comic-wise.
Yeah, just a couple. It's more of a potpourri for news. We got an Indiana Jones 5 release date of June 30th, 2023. They announced that this week. Harrison Ford himself announced it.
What do you think the odds of actually having that happen on that date?
I mean, he is very accident prone. I don't know that they've wrapped filming yet, and even if they go back for some reshoot stuff, there's always the chance he's going to fall, he's going to break a hip, and then they push it out another 6 months.
I say just CGI him and let him be.
Just let him be.
How old is Harrison Ford right now? He's like 80, isn't he? I mean,
yeah, he's like 80.
Jesus Christ.
So
just die already, right? Is that what you're saying?
No, but I mean, at some point, as much as I love Indiana Jones, at some point, it just gets sad.
Yeah.
I mean, it was already kind of sad back in 2008.
20 years ago, it was sad, so, yeah.
Oh, that's like 14 years ago. I mean, he was old then. So,
and he's still old.
Yeah, and they've said that they're not recasting, so if Indiana Jones continues, it's going to be some sort of legacy thing, the assumption is. So, we got that. It's interesting. We got, let's see, the big news, Amber Heard lost her trial. And if you're hearing it from us, like you're really under a rock.
Exactly.
Like if we're the ones delivering this news that Amber Heard lost her case to Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp. Well, I heard it on the pod, man, that I won.
I was waiting to get the podman to chime in on it. But no, there's a couple of interesting things that came out of it. One, the ACLU is now suing Johnny Depp. I guess they realized they're never getting the money from Amber, so they just jumped. Now they're suing Johnny directly.
What are they suing him for? What for?
They're saying that all the time and expense it took to put together the court documents and the records and completing affidavits and that sort of thing.
Hair and makeup.
It's not hard for them to go. I've got a checking account. I can go in and say, hey, did I get a check for $7 million from Amber Heard?
No.
No, we didn't. I don't know how much time that took, but apparently it's enough for them to sue Johnny Depp. And then just today they announced that rumor is Amber Heard, she only had about 10 minutes worth of screen time in Aquaman 2, and now they're saying she's out completely of Aquaman 2. And so, Brad, do you think that's because of Walter Hamada having to testify? That's his name, right?
It certainly could be. I mean, there's a little bit of shakeup happening on the DC movie front anyway. Yeah, I mean, again, and I think they're citing that just no chemistry between him and Jason Momoa. So
yeah, that's what they said before,
which is probably true. I still say, I know I'm probably a minority here. I still say I think she's still pretty hot, though. I still find her very hot. So I'd say keep her in.
I liked her in the first movie, but I didn't really. I don't know.
I think it's just going to be such a distraction, at this point.
Yeah.
Even if she's in there, no matter what you feel about, you're not going to see Mira. You're just going to see Amber Heard sitting there. So I don't know. I'm all for just getting her out.
Yep, Photoshop her out. Put Harrison Ford in.
Oh, that's
you know what? Yeah. That's also a promo thing. I mean, they actually have Amber Heard in it, so people may go see it.
Especially if she's
People may go
fighting.
see it.
If she's fighting people, that might be something good to have in there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they may want to go see if she'll shit the bed.
I guess. Well, I guess the well, and that kind of brings us to one of our other stories. They re-released Morbius into theaters this weekend.
Yeah,
did you guys see that?
Shit in the bed.
Nope. Did anybody go see it again?
No, they said that the average it was in 1,000 theaters and it made $85,000 over the weekend.
That's probably not too bad considering.
So that's $85 per theater in 3 days worth of showings.
Right.
So, but you know why they re-released it though?
Yeah, just to try to catch the internet wave, right?
Yeah, the internet wave. The meme of it's Morbid time has become so popular. They re-released the movie thinking, wow, well, people will go check out the movie just to find out what the meme's about. They did not.
They still did not. Oh, well. Good try.
One of PMR's buddies, Doc Antle from Tiger King, has been arrested for money laundering.
No. Oh, man.
Suspected money laundering. PMR has gone on record and talked about what an enjoyable time he had at Doc Antle's tiger rescue.
No, actually, I wanted to take a picture with the monkey, but Alex wanted to take a picture with the tiger.
And you couldn't afford both.
Couldn't afford both. Nope. Sorry.
And with Doc Antle laundering all that money, you'd think he could have better prices.
You think, he could have afforded it. Yeah, well.
So, and then sadly, my last news bit, Ted Lasso season 3. Brett Goldstein.
We're cutting Ted Lasso.
We're not cutting it. I got to find out what people think.
Wait, we're the only two people that listen to it. What do you mean?
Thank you.
I want
PMR's got his
I want
coffee.
to remind PMR in a couple of days that Ted Lasso's ending.
He's getting his coffee now. He's not even listening to the segment.
But yeah, Ted Lasso, they're preparing for season 3 to be the end. That's the way it's being written.
That's probably a good thing, right? I mean, I never finished season 2,
a good thing.
But I lost interest in season 2 pretty quickly. So
season 2 was good. I think it may have jumped the shark at the end with what's his face turning to the dark side.
I didn't see it. I stopped after the Christmas episode.
That Christmas episode was pretty brutal to watch.
So that's when I stopped it. So that would be the Ted Lasso finale for me, I think.
So yeah, well, I'll probably have to watch an episode or two after that, so that's not what you ended on.
Right.
But yeah, that's it for the news.
All right, PMR, do you have anything? I'm doing this just to prove
no.
it.
Sorry. I'm driving, sorry.
Yeah.
No, I thought we were going to talk about Joe Quesada being out at Marvel. You left that out.
Yeah, he managed to skip over that news.
I didn't figure anybody knew who Joe Quesada was.
No one does.
But Joe Quesada was the editor-in-chief and head of Marvel for 20 plus years.
Well, actually, what had he been doing? I thought he had already left Marvel. So what has he been doing these past few years?
Not much. I mean, he's not over editorial or anything. So, and I would imagine that most of the story directions coming from whatever MCU is doing, trying to line up with MCU or kind of data mine the MCU for stories for the comics. So I don't know what he was doing up until. I mean, if I read the article, I guess.
But we leave that to the listeners.
But we met Quesada at Dragon Con one year. We actually had like a pretty good conversation and stuff with him. This is before he took over head of MCU or head of Marvel Comics. So
what was the book that he drew back in the 90s?
Ash.
Ash.
He didn't draw it. He was. He did draw it. It was him and Jimmy Palmiotti. Palmiotti.
What happened to that guy?
He's still around DC doing stuff. So he's married to Amanda Connor. So, which she's a Harley Quinn artist and she does a lot of stuff. But yeah, Palmiotti, he's still around. The last thing he did of note was when the New 52 started. he did that Jonah Hex series, which was really good. It was probably one of the best things that came out of New 52. It and when they Animal Man and Swamp Thing. So that was the stuff they got right out of New 52. Everything else, and I guess Court of Owls, but everything else by and large was god awful. So there you have it.
I remember Ash. That was like his big, and I forget what publisher. I guess it was like Image back in the day. No, it wasn't.
No, it was Maxim. Maximum Comics or
Maximum Press. I don't think so. He had his own. He came up from somewhere. I don't know what Quesada got, how he got famous, but I know it was Ash was one of the books, but I feel like there was something else that he was on before. I guess DC. Did he work for DC? Did you say that?
No, he didn't. It was really out of left field, like, because he was on that Ash book, and then suddenly he was at Marvel. And, it was right after the Heroes Return stuff started to wind down.
Yeah, he started all the Marvel Knight stuff. You remember he was doing the art for some of the Marvel Knight stuff back in those late 90s.
It was such a weird appointment. I mean, it was almost like they were like, we're still trying to copy Image Comics.
They were. That's exactly what they were doing. They were trying to get and he's a great artist. I won't take that away from him. He's a fantastic artist, and I think they just wanted to get an artist that was in the vein of Image. And
I think they thought they were getting a McFarlane. So.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah,
but yeah. So,
well, there you have it.
That's the news.
All right, that's the news. Quick roundup of the news. Brian, where do we put the vacation at? Do we want to save the vacation after the movie and TV reviews?
Yeah, no, maybe not. Let's do the trailers.
Oh, trailers.
Then we'll do it.
All right.
Let's do the trailers, then we'll do it, and then we'll
all right.
jump into movies and TV.
Trailer-wise, we got the return of Willow and Mad Mardigan or whoever.
Yep. Mad Mardigan. Well, I don't think we're going to see Val Kilmer in this, but because they even said in the article that Mad Mardigan's presence will be felt,
right? So
although not seen.
Will it be a Force ghost or something like that? You think?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, or not even that. Just they could just be telling folk tales about Mad Mardigan and stuff, and his adventures after the first Willow movie.
Yeah,
was he like the main guy in Willow?
Yeah, Val Kilmer
next to Willow. Yeah,
well, next to Willow. Yeah,
who was Willow?
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis. Yeah.
Was he like a little dwarf or something?
He was. He still is. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, he still is.
He has not grown in inch.
No, I've never seen Willow. I never wanted to see Willow. It was that.
Have you seen Warwick Davis?
Yeah, that's the Ewok guy, little midget guy.
Yep. I mean, maybe not in that word.
Never mind. Sorry, I apologize for that word.
That's okay. What, Ewok?
Yeah,
Ewok. Yeah, we try not to talk about Ewoks on this show.
So we got the sequel, the 30-year-old sequel that no one asked for except for Warwick Davis. And you know what? If it's got him in it, so I may give it a shot. I'll watch first episode.
About? What's it about?
It's sword and sorcery type stuff. Science. Yeah.
It's Lucas wanted to make Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And couldn't get the license. So he made his own Lord of the Rings.
And there's people even littler than him in it, if you can believe that.
Yeah, it's about...
There's little bitty, whatever. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's you hate it. It's all about there's a girl born, and she's like an infant, but there's a prophecy around her, and
girl born,
and all that kind of
stuff. She's like an infant. You're getting about as bad as PMR, Brian.
So
there's a girl born, and she's like an infant.
Is that what I said?
That's exactly what you said.
Oh,
so
I stand by that.
Okay.
So is she grown now?
Maybe.
That's that's essentially.
And she's a nobody.
Yeah. Yeah, the prophecy was completely wrong.
Yeah, but you know how these prophecies are: Jedis and Willows.
So, yeah, we had a Willow trailer, which looked interesting. I'll tell you what looked more interesting was when they did Warwick Davis did like a cast introduction video, like back at D23.
Yeah.
And it's him interviewing all the people that are going to be in the show. And it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Ward Davis, he had that show that Ricky Gervais put together.
Yeah. Life is short.
Life is short, yeah. And it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
You should watch it. It was like extras and the if you ever listen to the Ricky Gervais, yeah, a little bit of Curb in it. Yeah, it was good.
What's it on?
So,
it's on
HBO. Yeah, Life is short. It's only one season, and one of the episodes spends a lot of time on Johnny Depp.
Life is short.
Yeah, there was like a whole episode where Johnny Depp just wanted to hang out with him for a day because he was a fan of Willow, and Ward Davis was like, "Why am I doing why am I doing this?" And it really goes into how weird and nutty Johnny Depp is. And that's like 10 years ago.
They could have used that.
That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah. So
there's Willow.
Life is short.
Yeah.
And then we got the trailer, long-awaited trailer for The Sandman, which drops on August 5th on Netflix. Brad, did you ever watch DC's The Sandman or read DC's The Sandman?
Never did, but I understand that this has my girl Clara Oswald in there,
yeah.
So I'll watch just about anything that Clara is in.
And she's playing Johanna Constantine, which Johanna Constantine, John Constantine.
Oh, okay. Is that his sister or something?
No, in the
gender
comic.
swapped them.
Well, that's the worry. Is that in the comic, Johanna Constantine shows up in like a flashback, but she doesn't show up until like issue 35, right? And it's a story set like in the 1800s. Well, this Johanna Constantine, it looks like, she's wearing like modern clothing. So the thought is they may have just gender swapped. Which, whatever. We've seen John Constantine a few times now anyway. So,
yeah.
But,
Jenna Coleman.
And Jenna Coleman. Yeah.
So I don't even know. Sandman is not the Justice Society Sandman, but there is a loose connection there.
There's a loose connection. So what's interesting about reading the Sandman comic is it does still intersect with the DCU, right? So the DC universe. The Sandman is Dream. So you've got Dream, you've got Destiny, you've got Delirium, you've got Death, and so he's the like the god of dreaming.
Okay.
Right. And so he gets captured. They're trying to capture Death. There's this cult that's trying to capture Death in like the 1910s, right? And so they do this whole ritual to try and they accidentally capture Death instead of. I'm sorry, they accidentally captured Dream instead of Death.
All right.
And so the guy that's the head of the cult won't let Dream out because he's afraid of his vengeance.
And is Dream Sandman? Who is Sandman?
Dream is Sandman.
Okay.
The Sandman and Dream, they're one and the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So Orpheus, Sandman, Dream, it's all the same. So Morpheus. So the reason why Wesley Dobbs' Sandman ties in is because he would have dreams about Morpheus, the Sandman dream, right? So, and the reason all that was happening is because Dream was captured. So there was like this connection between Wesley Dobbs, or Dodds, and the Dream. But it gets into in the first like 10, 12 issues. Do you remember the female? Oh my God, Rex Mason. What's his name? Metamorpho. Do you remember the female Metamorpho?
I do not.
No.
She was an 80s character, but she's in it. She has like a whole story arc that's real sad. It's her and Death. There's a Dr. Destiny escapes in like the second issue. Dr. Destiny's a big JLA villain. And in issue 4 of the Sandman, it's either 4 or 5, it's like it's really messed up what happens. It's all set in this diner and Dr. Destiny's sitting there, like, controlling people, like puppets. And they said that episode's in the show. So that,
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's
cool.
going to get really, pretty fucked up if it's in there. But yeah, it's, there's lots of intersex and references to the Justice League and everything. I wonder how much of that will actually make it in the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sandman's a very, very good, very interesting read. It's if you like, I mean, I know you like Preacher, PMR. If you would,
Preacher I love.
If you commit the time to Sandman, you'd like it. That being said, you're probably going to hate this thing.
That being said, you're going to hate it.
I'm going to try it.
That's PMR disapproves right there.
I will give it a shot. I've always, back in the day when we, during the store days, especially the early store days, everybody loved Sandman. That was like one of the most popular books. Now that kind of waned off towards the middle.
Well, when Neil Gaiman left. So Neil Gaiman left, and then they did a book called The Dreaming, and they did Death, the High Life, the High Cost of Living, right? And so they tried to kind of keep it going, but once Neil Gaiman left and wrapped the story for the Sandman, it lost a lot of steam. Now, but in recent years, I think it was 2017, 2018, they re-released, Neil Gaiman came back and did like a 6 or 8 issue Sandman Overture, which was another story arc. And they used it to kind of springboard and bring back. Now the Dreaming comic is back. It's not Gaiman, but they've really tried to kind of reinvigorate those stories in that universe. So,
well, hopefully it's not too crazy. I mean, I try to watch.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
I try to watch American Gods. I try to watch Good Omens, and I kind of put them in the same vein of kind of wacky. I don't even know how Vertigo-ish type titles. But again, I'll give this a shot for Jenna Coleman's sake.
Yeah. So yeah, the first story arc is him escaping, and then he's got his helmet. Well, his helmet gets and then he's got his bag of sand
tricks. Oh,
yeah, the bag to put people to sleep. So the first story arc is basically him escaping and getting all of his instruments back and trying to rebuild the kingdom of dreaming.
All right.
So he goes to hell and all sorts of stuff happens there. Then the second story arc, then it kind of does like one shots because it wasn't supposed to be an ongoing series. So they did like one shots, and that's where that one with the female metamorpho comes in and stuff. Then he fights Dr. Destiny. And then it goes into kind of like the interstitial stuff where it's like one shots until they can, I guess, because they realize, no, we're going to make this an ongoing series.
Well, so hopefully the series will be good. Tie in a little bit to DC's type stuff. Give people something to hope for, I guess, right?
Yeah. I'm doing the audiobooks now. And the audiobooks are full cast audio, so it's James McAvoy is Dream. You've got David Tennant plays Loki for an episode. You've got all sorts of like A-list sort of actors doing the audiobooks, and they've done 2 now. Each of the audiobooks covers like 20 issues.
Oh, all right.
So,
well, maybe
and
I'll listen to those instead of the TV show then.
There you go. They're all narrated by Neil Gaiman.
Oh, so. Okay. A lot of Neil Gaiman stuff for you.
There you go.
All right. Any other trailer? That's it, trailer-wise, right?
That's it, trailer-wise. So.
All right, very good. On to the movies?
Or you want my vacation update?
Let's go to the vacation update. We got no theme song for it, but yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we decided to, where can we go? It's attractive to have something where the kids are occupied, and just send them off to do their own thing. And back in the fall, we did a Disney cruise, but just me and Tamara went. Just me and my wife went. Now, a couple of years back, we went with the kids and everything, and it was great. You sent them off; they were occupied the whole day. We didn't have to deal with them. We could go hang out at the pool, do whatever we wanted. Right. So we're like, let's do that again. And my wife went to go look at different cruise options, and so she went. And some of this will start like there was realizations made the whole week, like as to where we went wrong.
The first of it was a cruise, right?
Yeah, possibly. I think I had the first mistake is having like a Disney cruise and then going to pretty much anything else, I would guess.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, not going to be quite as everything taken care of.
You're making sacrifices no matter what.
Yeah.
But so she books a cruise on the Princess Cruise Line.
That's the Love Boat, isn't it?
There's nothing that could go wrong there.
Yeah.
Oh.
Straight. Hold on a minute. So you book a Disney cruise for kids, but you and Tamara only go. But then on the Love Boat,
because she found a deal.
She found a deal
with all the kids.
It all comes down to
basically, if you can get an off-peak short notice booking, you can get a steal, right? But when we did that back in the fall, it was only like a 3-day cruise or a 4-day cruise, so it was like out and back.
Right.
This she was trying to do like a whole week, right? And obviously it'd be 4 instead of 2, right? And so, long story short, she decided on Princess. And I found out later why she decided on Princess, or why we were looking at Princess. And I wouldn't have known anyway, until we got back, that this was going to happen. So we went on the cruise, and day one, like in the dining room, I'm looking around. Like this is like the day the ship left. I think we were still in port because you could get on the ship and then go grab lunch when you're on the ship. I'm looking around and I'm like, there's a lot of old people on this boat.
No.
Like a lot of old people on this boat.
Right. You're the young stuff.
I'm the youngest person in this room. So, and that theme carried on. So then we go to they always just have like a cruise director, and the cruise director keeps making jokes about how old everybody is, right? like a lot. We go to drop the kids off. There's no kids in the kids area whatsoever. None. On day one. So they didn't even stay. They came with us. Day two, we dropped them off and we got the hell out of there, as quick before they could realize, wait a minute. So we got the hell out of there. And come to find out on day two, a couple of kids showed up. They had a little group of like 4 or 5 kids. But the total out of like 2,000 guests on the boat, there was only 75 kids.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Damn.
And so now I'm really I'm becoming more and more aware of this as like day two kind of rolls in. I would guess the median age on that boat was 62. Right? And it's us.
Right.
No kidding.
You're dragging it down. You're dragging the average down.
Yeah, and if I wasn't on the ship, it'd probably be like 67. Like that kind of thing. If I didn't have 2 13-year-olds with me. Right. So, so that's like day two. We're realizing, man, there's some old folks on this boat. And then they had a comedian on the ship who was, Don Frieza, which he's had a Showtime special.
Oh,
right. Back in 1983.
No, it was like 2015 or 14, something like that. I mean, it was relatively recent. He had his own HBO special, and he'd won different like comedy festival
he had some
things.
Great Reagan jokes.
So he's the comedian, and he was pretty okay. He was pretty good, to the point where we're like, he goes, "Yeah, I want to do another show Wednesday night." So he was in the Princess Theater the first night or the second night, whenever he did it. He's like, 2 nights or the night after, not tomorrow night or the night after, I'm going to be in the lounge, and I've got a whole other set. It's going to be a little more personal. Okay. Well, you know what? there ain't shit else going on. Let's go do that.
Might as well.
So that was day 2. Day 3 was Memorial Day, right? And this was the weirdest shit. Well, let me go back to the comedian real quick. So
then you
day
found out
1
it was a seniors swingers cruise.
no.
That's where it got really weird.
Also, like, so his first set, he's talking about his family, his wife, and a lot of the jokes are kind of like that early Cosby sort of, humor, Dad is great. He gives us chocolate cake, that kind of stuff, the old Cosby bits, right? So it's those kind of family stories and his wife and, the wife, she's got me about, those kind of things. Well, when we go see the next show, he's like, well, you know how I was telling you guys about my wife? It's really my ex-wife. And so the other set was all about his wife leaving him.
Oh, God.
So you're like, oh, this is pretty funny. And then it's like, here's his comedy act. Now let's listen to him work through some shit for an hour.
Now the therapy session.
Yeah, we're like his therapist for this.
And was it a full room? Full room?
Full room, not many laughs being had.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? So that happened. Then we had a magician, a comedy magician, that did 2 shows.
Can't go wrong with a comedy magician.
And what was funny with him was the guy's in his 60s, but you'd see him trying to use his magic tricks, or once you realize who it was, you'd see him around the ship trying to hit on 20-somethings with his magic.
Nice.
So he'd corner some college kid or some early 30s woman and have her, captive while he does magic tricks, trying to, lure her back up to his room.
Typical.
So that all went down. I saw one guy fell down the stairs in front of me. Like he was trying to come up the stairs and like completely missed the step and just planted. And because it's an older cruise, like you saw all these people just come running up. And he was embarrassed, so he took off. They're like, sir, are you okay?
I got to go. Never seen him move so fast.
There's an incident report you got to fill out.
Yeah, sir, don't sue us.
Don't sue us. So that happened. We had one night we were going to the dining room. The food was awful, except for the dining room. Right? If you went to like the sit-down dining room, if you tried to go to any of the quick service or buffet stuff, the food was god-awful. But if you went to the dining room, it was okay. But we went to the dining room one night and late in the trip, and you would book your reservation. You'd book what time you wanted to go to the dining room, and they would always kind of line up because it's all old people,
right?
I mean, they take their time sitting down. They take their time, scooting their walker back to the table. There's going to be a log jam. And so we're sitting there, and this old guy in the front's like yelling at the maitre d'. And so I pick up on it, and he's like, well, why do we have to make a reservation and still have to wait in line?
Good
and
point.
the maitre d's like, well, sir, we had a health scare, or we had a medical situation, and so we're a little backed up. And so in the foreground is this guy screaming at him with his jet black dyed hair,
right?
Like this old man, this 90-year-old man screaming at him. The maitre d' is trying to explain, hey, we've had this medical situation. If you look just slightly to the right of the maitre d', there's this lady with cotton white hair and an oxygen mask on with her husband holding her hand like she's about to die, sitting right there, right? So he's screaming at the maitre d'. The maitre d's like, yeah, we had a medical situation. And the guy goes, what the hell's that got to do with anything?
Oh, my God.
And like a little old lady, like she looked like literally she needed to be airlifted off the boat. So that's all going on, right? That's the level of this cruise. This is the situation I needed you guys to chime in on. So Memorial Day was a formal night, and we didn't bring suits or anything, so we had to go eat at the buffet.
Okay.
The buffet thing.
Did you not eat at the captain's dinner?
No. That's the formal night. No, because you had to bring like a suit and tie. I'm not going to. The kids don't have a suit and tie.
Hell no.
Like I'm not going to buy them a suit and tie to go sit. So we just said, no. This is before we tasted the food too. We had to pack before we got a sample of the food.
Right.
We're like, no, that night we'll go get whatever the quick service is and just not deal with the suits. So we're in the buffet Memorial Day night, and we're trying to figure out something to eat because it's all god awful. And the kids are sitting there, and Taylor goes to leave to the restroom, and there's this guy in his 50s behind me. I did not get a good look at him, but man, he was sitting right there and he was talking really loud, so I could hear everything he was saying. And so he starts going, he was a veteran. I think I'll do it when he gets back. I think when he comes back, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
And this lady next to him goes, well, you should do it. You should.
That's Memorial Day.
He goes, yeah, I'm going to do the national anthem. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the national anthem when he gets back.
What?
Now, it's formal night. Everybody's downstairs, but just a handful, maybe 15 people are in this whole buffet room, right? Of course, they sat right next to us.
Of course.
He goes, and so the whole time he's like talking it up, and I'm like, oh shit. So I'm about to text Tamara. This dude's about to start singing the national anthem in the middle of the buffet line, right? Before I can text her, she comes back, and I'm like,
we got to go.
This guy, and I'm trying. He's within like 10 feet of me. I'm like, this guy is about to sing the national anthem.
So he's
What?
just going to break out singing in the middle with no one asking him.
Nobody asked him to. He's just decided this is what he's going to do, right? And so I'm like, this guy's fixing to sing the national anthem. And she's like, what? I was like, the guy behind me is about to get up and sing the national anthem. He's psyching himself up to do it. And sure enough, not 2-3 minutes later, he stands up. He goes, attention, everyone. If I could have all of your attention, please.
How old is this guy?
Yeah, like mid-50s, right? And I never.
Age?
He's PMR's age. He may have been pushing 60. So, but he goes, I never saw him, right? I saw him, I guess, when I was coming to the table, just in cursory, but this is before like anything happened, so I didn't know what he looked like. So he, at this point, he stands up, and I guess the central part of the room is directly behind me now. So he decides to stand like 2 feet behind me and make this proclamation that, in celebration of Memorial Day, I would like to perform the national anthem for all of you,
all right,
15 people or so, using my God-given talent. And I'm like, well, that's a little braggadocious, but okay.
All right.
And he goes,
what he's got.
however, and this is where I lost it. However, I will not be using words.
Uh-oh.
What?
I'm like, well,
is he signing
So
it?
he's just going to hum it? What?
Close. So then he starts. He starts
That's
whistling
fantastic.
the national anthem. He starts whistling the national anthem in the buffet area. And like, I look when he said it, when he goes, I will not be using words. I'm like, huh? And then immediately he starts whistling, and I lost it. He's standing like a foot and a half, 2 feet behind me, and it's just like at Ryan's when Nancy promised this sandwich. It's the same scenario. Like, I'm like crying. I'm laughing. I can't stop laughing. The kids are like looking at me. We're all trying not to make eye contact.
Hard. I mean, that was
We're all.
You broke out laughing that hard.
Nothing came out of my nose, but I couldn't.
That night.
I was crying, like trying not to make eye contact with the kids. The kids are trying not to make eye contact with me. Every time one of us looks at it, we just start giggling. He whistles the entire national anthem.
Nice.
Was he a loud whistler? I mean, was he like?
Yeah, was he good or just unexpected?
Yeah. I mean, he went. If you ask, hey buddy, could you whistle the national anthem? This is what you would hear. It wasn't. I don't know how he thought it was a God-given talent, but he. The kids said that he was doing the gestures like an opera singer because he was behind me. They were like he was doing this, like the.
Why didn't you record it in this?
Yeah.
Like he's doing all these grandiose gestures while he's doing it. And then he goes, and now I always like to finish it up with
The Andy Griffith.
God bless America.
Oh my God.
So then he whistled. Then we have to listen to him whistle "God Bless America," and then when he's done, you've got that. While he's doing this, it's so awkward. People are like, "Well, I guess I'm not eating." They're putting down their forks.
I guess I'm going to have to stand for this shit. Yeah,
taking their hats off and having to put their hats over their heart to listen to to listen to him whistle the national anthem. And at the end, it's the
it
was like that little smattering of claps, and people just sat back down. They kept eating their food. We never stood up. If I had turned around and looked at the guy, I would have done a spit take. Like it was so bizarre. And all he was trying to do was just, I've got a captive audience. People aren't going to walk out.
Yeah.
I've got an excuse. It's Memorial Day.
I got to give them talent.
I've got a guaranteed applause at the end. They're applauding the national anthem, but he's like, oh, look, they applauded me. This proves I got talent.
I cannot believe this. That is. Did you not record it?
No. It was all I could do. I was biting my head, like not to just laugh in his face. And then he goes, he walks past the table, and he goes, "Yeah, national anthem," and they're laughing at it.
Oh,
that's what we were laughing at was the national anthem.
Right.
Not this Jew. So that happens, and then on the last day of the cruise, the kids are like, "Guess who we just saw?" And I'm like, "Who?" "Their whistling guy. He got on the elevator with us."
Ooh.
And so it's them and like the kids that they kind of buddied up with on the cruise. He gets on the elevator, and I was like, "Well, did he say anything?" "Yeah."
He whistles.
I was like, "What'd he say?" He said he got on the elevator and he saw the weight capacity sign. And he goes, "Anytime you get on a crowded elevator, everybody's worried about the weight capacity and looks at the fat guy."
Oh.
talking about himself.
Right.
Everybody looks at the fat guy. And then he goes,
I kind of like the whistling guy.
That seems too bad.
I kind of like that. I wish I would have gotten to know the whistling guy.
Then he goes, same thing whenever anybody passes gas on an elevator.
Wow.
Everybody looks at the fat
He's entertaining the kids there, it sounds like.
I cannot believe he sat there and psyched himself up to whistle the national anthem. I mean, that, and you didn't take a video
and
of it.
That's the most disappointing thing.
I'm so sorry.
Come on, man. I mean, you should have stopped him and said, "Hold on a minute, sir.
Let me get this."
I got a video."
The whole scene where people are having to put down their forks and stand up from the table. Nobody wants to be there. And so they're all having to listen to this guy. They're all having to stand up and put their hand on their heart, and they have to clap at the end. And it's all in his mind. It's because of his God-given talent.
Well, there you
his
go.
Incredible talent of whistling. God.
All because you didn't pack a tie. Next time you bring a tie.
Yeah, or just order room service. So, long story short.
So he's probably told everybody, like, "Oh man, they love me."
Except for the people with the kids.
Except for these kids that were can you believe that? They were laughing at the national anthem. They were laughing at me whistling like a jackass.
Right.
So then on the last day of the cruise, after all this goes down, and I'm like, I was like, why did we pick Princess Cruise Line?
Yeah, why did we pick
this? And Tara goes, well, my dad loves it.
There you go. Take it from an old person.
My 78-year-old father loves it.
He thinks it's great. Beautiful women.
And I was like, well, you can't argue with that logic.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man. Wow.
Yeah.
So
long story short,
nothing but Disney cruises from now on.
So, well, it depends.
No
For
Norwegian
our 65
cruises.
and up listeners, go Princess. No kids, right? They've got good. Apparently, they're on the spot if there's any sort of falls or strokes in the dining room.
They're ready for you.
You may have to listen to some whistling, but yeah, you're 65 and older. Perfect. 65 and under.
Just think, those people that you're on the boat with during the Love Boat days, they were probably, the ones hooking up.
They were hooking up left and right.
They were the ones banging it out back in the 70s on the Love Boat.
The bartender was not named Isaac, and not once did he give me the finger guns. He didn't finger gun me once.
God damn, dude! Did you at least throw him a finger gun?
Nope.
Thanks, brother. No.
Thanks.
So, yeah. Oh, and the captain. Oh my God, the captain. He would get on the PA, and it was the same thing. He would give these long, rambling, like 15-minute updates about what's going on with the ship.
What the fuck is going on with the ship?
Yeah.
We were gonna head into some.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're going to head into some rain. There's a tropical depression on the other side of Florida. We'll probably see some rain and some weather bands of that. That's all he had to say. He went on, and every time he got that mic, it was just like he couldn't shut up, and he would just talk for 20 minutes.
Well,
and he has the button.
90 years old.
He has the button where he can broadcast to the dining rooms, to common areas, or every room.
Everybody.
And he would blast to every room and make announcements, and they would be 15-minute announcements about nothing.
Y'all were in the know. Just making sure y'all in the know. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're under 65, if you're over 65, Princess Cruise Lines. If you're under 65, or
everything else,
go elsewhere.
Well, see, you wouldn't have known though. I mean, seems like you had a good time. You should go again on the Princess Cruise.
Never again.
Unless
they decide to sponsor the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, the Podman's sponsored by Princess Cruise.
I'm sure after this segment they will.
After your un-American,
they'll jump on it. This glowing review that you've done on it.
Wow! So now we've got
food terrible,
food terrible,
entertainment subpar. The whistling horrible.
It was all old people food.
Well, that's what I told Tara. I was like, I realized that the reason it was so bad is because they were afraid to put any salt. They couldn't put any salt.
Couldn't put any. Everything was pre-mashed.
It's all mashed up. Their teeth won't fall out.
Everything had to be soft and chewable and no salt whatsoever.
No spiciness at all.
So, no spice, no salt, no, yeah.
So, well, hey, from a vacation review of 1970s Princess Cruise, maybe to the movie reviews of the 1980 movie. I don't know. That was a horrible segue.
He tried.
I tried. There was an attempt. All right. So let's talk about Maverick. Top Gun Maverick. You boys have both seen it. Everybody seems to really love this movie for some reason. I have no desire to ever to see it or relive Top Gun, much to Jacob's chagrin of Top Gun. I'd love to hear how it compares in Jacob's eyes. But Podman Ron, Top Gun Maverick, what do you think of this guy? What is Maverick back at it? And what was he doing before?
I was not a big fan of the original Top Gun at all. It felt like a music video the whole time. It was kind of ridiculous, but I saw it back in the day, and I thought Alex saw this movie before I did, so I talked to him on the phone, and of course he loved it, and it was this glowing recommendation about it. Just absolutely loved this movie. So he got me hyped up a little bit.
Yeah.
He compared it to, how Rocky IV and Creed 2 was to Rocky IV, and he kind of compared it like that, where Rocky IV was the kind of the goofy 80s movie, but Creed 2 kind of made it a little bit more serious and, kind of updated it. So I kind of went in expecting that. What I got was the same fucking exact movie as Top Gun back in the 80s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I liked it more than Top Gun back in the 80s. I actually liked the movie, but
this had more structure.
Tom, yeah, it had more structure, but I really don't get Tom Cruise, why everybody likes him so much. I mean, I take that back. He is a likable person, but he has no personality in these movies. He is a one-dimensional person. I mean,
he's Tom Cruise.
He does not deviate. I mean, it's like watching just toast on the screen. I mean, he has no personality whatsoever. And when he tries to have a little bit of a jovial personality, it just comes off so stiff that it does not come off genuine. I mean, it's just he was the worst part of the whole movie. I mean, Miles Teller, actually, I liked his character. I like the evil mustache twirling rival this time. His character. I mean, I don't know. It was a good movie, but I just don't get Tom Cruise, so I don't get everybody's fascination with him.
Wow.
You had Hangman, who was the Iceman, virtually the exact same character, right? Val Kilmer versus. Yeah. You had, even to the point where like and then you had Goose was in the first movie and Rooster's his son, Miles Teller.
And he looked just like him. I mean, they look.
He did look a lot like him.
Yeah.
And so you had a lot of the same sort of beats as the first movie.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean,
but then you had, I kind of liken it as you got a sequel to Top Gun and Iron Eagle. All in the same movie.
Kind of did. Yeah, right.
And Airwolf.
You're right.
I wish Airwolf.
And there was another
Firefox, Airwolf, Blue Thunder,
Blue Steel,
Blue Thunder,
yeah. So it's like I almost wonder if Tom Cruise thought he was in Iron Eagle when he was putting the script together, because you've got, if you take the first like 2 acts of Top Gun Maverick, it's almost verbatim Top Gun.
It really was.
Really?
I mean, it really was. And that's why the first 2 acts was boring. It was the last act that saved the movie for me.
Yes. And so it's the Iron Eagle part of the movie that saved the movie. So the third act is Iron Eagle.
Yeah, it really was.
So, Rooster doesn't like, Maverick, and you're trying to find out why he doesn't like Maverick, and Maverick's the one that stalled him getting into the Naval Academy and all that kind of stuff. That's what you find out. And so they kind of have their moment where they put aside their resentment or whatever, and Miles Teller's like, well, I understand what you did, why you did what you did, and then they go off to have the same nondescript battle with what could be Iranians, or it could be Russians, or it could be North Koreans. We're not really going to say who they're fighting, right? They go off and have their adventure, right? And they were a lot more descriptive as to what the mission was, which they weren't in Top Gun. So that was a trade up, right? Like you had like a clear definition of what the mission was and what everybody was supposed to do. However, it was essentially the Death Star trench. Right? You picked that up, right, PMR?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Essentially, they're just got to run the Death Star trench and drop a bomb in a port valve, right?
I mean, that's exactly what it was. I mean,
so
I'm laughing because everybody that has seen it said, "Oh my God, this is a great movie." I mean, are people really that desperate?
It's a
yes.
You know what? It was a decent movie. It really was a decent movie. I mean, towards the end, you are like interested. I mean,
you want to go whistle the national anthem? You feel very patriotic.
There was a guy whistling in the background the national anthem. That may have been Brian.
I would say the movie is more than the sum of its parts.
Okay,
so I guess that's a win, right?
I guess.
But essentially, it's Top Gun. The whole movie, Top Gun.
I mean, he basically took Top Gun and took everything. He got the nostalgia part right, and then he improved the ending to Top Gun and threw it out there.
Added the Death Star trench from Star Wars.
Yeah, he added the trench from Star Wars.
Now,
and everybody is losing their mind over it. So
at the end of Act 2, and this is why people like it better. At the end of Act 2, you're like, well, I mean, we've been in here about 2 hours. This thing's got to be wrapping up. Maverick gets shot down.
Uh-oh.
So Maverick gets shot down, and then it turns into Iron Eagle. So he's shot down behind enemy lines, and Rooster goes to save Maverick. And this is literally Iron Eagle. They go behind enemy lines. They steal an enemy jet, which was in Iron Eagle. I'm almost certain. And then they have to fly back, and then they have to take out. And they keep talking about that the enemy has these 5th generation fighter jets. And I'm like, well, why the hell would they have 5th generation fighter jets and we wouldn't?
Right.
Like, is Lockheed Martin making jets for, North Korea and not including us in on the deal? Like, what the hell is happening? So, they take out the jets, they land, everybody's happy, all's forgiven, yada, yada, yada. But, yeah, this movie, it kind of highlights all the stuff that kind of wasn't great about Top Gun. They couldn't use the planes the way they wanted to. A lot of that stuff was just, either models or it was just film of plane skirmishes and stuff. Right. It wasn't actually made for the movie, so they had to kind of fit like the fighter jet stuff into the movie. So they couldn't really have like a lot of like plot in the dogfights, right? So this, you got a definitive, explanation of what the mission was. You got dogfights that made better sense, right? You got action in the air that you got much better special effects with the action in the air and what's happening. You can follow the what's happening in the dogfight better. And then you've got the whole thing behind enemy lines where they're trying to get to the hangar, steal a jet, and get back to their boat. So you had more of the kind of the action hero stuff going on there. Him running, avoiding bullets, all that, knocking out enemy, insurgents, or not insurgents, but enemy, combatants.
Right.
So it is a much better movie than Top Gun. I'll say it's a good movie.
Wow.
But at some point, you're just like, all right, well, you can just pick it apart. Like all they're doing.
Oh, yeah, you can pick it apart.
Well, you've seen enough movies to realize, okay, they just stole this, they stole this, they stole this, and slapped it all together and put Top Gun Maverick on it.
But here's the thing. Here's what I think why everybody likes it so much. It's just simple. I mean, it is a very simple movie. I mean, there's not much, there's dialogue, of course, but it's not, you don't really have to think very hard to watch this movie. Yeah. So it's just a good action summer popcorn movie, and throw in a little nostalgia in it. You got, Val Kilmer in it, reprising his role, even to the point that Jennifer Connelly's character, she plays this girl named Penny in The Bartender, but she wasn't in the first movie, but her name was referenced in the first movie several times.
Oh, really?
His girlfriend, yeah. They talked about her a couple of times in the first movie because he had just broke her heart or something in the first movie or done something. And so they did a really good job of, the nostalgia part of it. But I don't know. Like I said, Tom Cruise is just so boring. I mean, God, Lord, this guy's boring.
It's the same old movie star thing. He just plays himself.
Yeah.
He really does. And then even the love scenes, it's so funny because, I've always heard that you will not see Tom Cruise kiss another woman in a movie. So in the love scenes, they're in bed together and they're just like, she's got the sheet pulled, up to her breast and he's shirtless and they're just talking in bed. They're just talking in bed. They're just giggling and, they're just, it's just a montage, but, and then he'll kiss her on the cheek or something. And, I'm like, oh my God, this is yeah. Huh. So it's it's a good movie. I mean, I would give it a
bad
4
sex
out of 5.
scene, but good movie.
4 out of 5.
I can't wait for Days of Thunder. Cole Trickle.
Part 2.
Cole Trickle?
Cole Trickle. That was his name in Days of Thunder. Cole Trickle. Not D-C-O-L-E. Cole Trickle.
Good Lord. So what do you, overall, Podman Ron, what do you give this movie? What score here?
I gave it a 4 out of 5. 4 out of 5. I mean, I'd see it again. I'd actually watch this stupid movie. I wouldn't watch Top Gun again.
No.
But I'd watch this dumb movie again.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I'd give it 4 out of 5.
Wow. That's pretty high. Okay. Well, if I see it, I'll see it on cable and fast forward to the air scenes. Is that pretty much what I heard?
And Tom Cruise runs in it. You know, he runs in every movie.
Of course, he's got to run.
Yeah.
That was why they had to shoot him down behind. That's why they had to shoot him down behind enemy lines so he could run out.
He could run. Okay, very good.
So he can do that weird run that he does with his arms, you know, like karate chopping.
All right.
He's cutting through the air.
Literally.
He's reducing wind resistance by karate chopping the air.
Karate chop the air.
Tom Cruise can do no wrong. Everybody loves him.
Everybody loves Tom Cruise. What do I know? Fuck.
Exactly.
And he's got that massive tooth. You know, he's got that tooth of his like in the center of his mouth.
It's in the center, yeah. Dead center, yeah.
Weird.
If a guy like that could make it, I don't know what's been holding you back, PMR.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I'm an idea man. That's right.
Yep, just a support team. All right, so
you just need better lackeys.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Yeah, if he had more productive lackeys, Podman Ron would be a true success.
Truly.
If he surrounded himself with better followers, just like Tom Cruise. All right, TV Land?
Yes.
Over in TV Land, we've got a couple of things. Some, I don't know, we've got Stranger Things, we've got The Boys, and we've got Obi Wan Kenobi. Obi Wan is releasing weekly, and Stranger Things has released several episodes, but then there's going to be a part 2 to the season. And The Boys, I don't know anything about that.
It's weekly. It's weekly, but they dropped the first 3 episodes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can talk about all 3 of them. It won't take long.
All right. Which way? Where do you want to start, PMR?
Say Obi-Wan.
Yeah, let's do Obi-Wan. I agree.
All right, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the story that no one thought they needed to know about Obi-Wan Kenobi looking over little Leia, as it turns out, a lot of little Leia, and little Luke. I was surprised that Leia shows up in first 2 episodes.
They did the old bait and switch on us on the advertising.
Yeah, we didn't know Leia was going to be involved. I think, I don't know if I'm caught up or not. I saw where Vader appears. So spoiler alert. Vader appears. I'll say that it's held my interest. I'm not saying it's good by any means. But I guess it just holds my interest, just Ewan McGregor, maybe. And Obi-Wan Kenobi. I think it is interesting how they've made Obi-Wan Kenobi kind of one of the better Star Wars characters when he had no role whatsoever, in the original trilogy. He was there, and he gave Luke a lightsaber, and he died pretty much. And now they've got this rich backstory that they've created for him and everything. So that's kind of interesting. Ewan McGregor, I like. But everything else around it, again, sick of Tatooine. Glad he got off of it for a little bit, but it's okay, I guess, right?
Yeah, it just bugs me that some of the shit they do in this show, and all the Disney stuff, like, it just doesn't make any goddamn sense. Right. It's like, when Leia, first off, the actress that plays Leia it's bizarre. I don't know if she's 27 or 6, but she talks like she's 27, right. But she's like 3 feet tall. It is bizarre. Like, I can't.
Well, that's them trying to show that she's,
she's
wise beyond her years.
Oh, yeah, she is.
I mean, she's a precocious little
princess.
Well, precocious is not what I would describe her as. If they're shooting for precocious, it's not coming across. But yeah, that casting is it's weird. It's weird. The logic gaps and the plot holes are hard to like ignore, right? I mean, so like when she runs away from Obi Wan in that market,
right?
He's a freaking Jedi. Like is a.
I guess and maybe they hit on it, Brian, and because he did have to struggle to regain his levitation power. So is he kind of lost everything? Did they say that somewhere along the line? And he's struggling, or he's just out of practice, or what?
I guess. Obi-Wan, we find Obi-Wan. He's a sand butcher.
Chopping up sand wells.
Yeah, he's a butcher, just working in the desert.
And then he steals the meat. I don't understand,
He's stealing the meat to feed his horse or whatever that thing is.
It seems like that should play into something, but it never did. It's like,
yes, I was waiting for that too, because they showed him doing that. And they
multiple times,
and
multiple times. So
and he didn't do it like a sleight of hand. He kind of did it pretty well in the open, and he just tucked it in his pocket. So I wasn't sure.
Okay, they're gonna. That something was gonna they're gonna beat his ass. Or fire
I thought something would
materialize. No, nothing at all. It was just a little plot line that went nowhere.
Yeah,
but I need this job.
Right. I just stole some well blubber to feed my horse elephant.
So, then you got the whole thing with Bail Organa. Like, he tries to call him, he doesn't answer. Bail's there. Do you not think that the Empire would have somebody watching Bail Organa, someone who was incredibly outspoken against the senator?
They said
during
as the princess, so there you go.
Yeah, he just jumps in the ship, flies to Tatooine. What's Bail Organa doing on Tatooine? We don't need to know. It's just he's a known associate. Hold on, he's a known associate of Obi-Wan.
Right.
So they kidnap Leia to smoke out Obi-Wan, but they're not bothering to track where Bail Organa's going.
Right.
Here's the thing. I mean, it holds like Brad said, it holds my attention. I like Ewan McGregor. I can tolerate the little girl for the most part, but I love the Vader scenes because that was pretty cool. The Vader scenes, not because it was Vader and him fighting. I just like the aesthetics of it at night, the way it was, the lightsabers, Vader stuff, all that looked really, really cool.
I liked how Vader came into the town, and it was reminiscent of when you first see him. He's just walking straight through and just killing people and just
all that was really cool. But I think my favorite scene in the whole thing, and if I would have wrote this, I would have written it like this: is he's in the back of the truck with Leia, and those stormtroopers get in the truck. Now, he's wearing fucking Jedi robes.
Yeah.
I mean, he's wearing a robe like a Jedi. He hasn't changed his appearance much. I mean, brown robe.
Right.
And
they've already gotten the APB to look for a Jedi.
So they're looking for a Jedi with a kid. I'm assuming with a kid because he left with a fucking kid. So here's this guy, looks like a Jedi.
Or at least they know Bail Organa's daughter's been kidnapped.
Right.
Right. So the stormtroopers look at him and they go, "Hey, have you seen a Jedi around?" And he goes, "I wouldn't know what one looks like." I swear I would have been like, if the stormtrooper should have went, well, they wear a brown robe, usually a beard, and then go, wait a minute. Wait. I mean, that's how they should have done it. It was just so stupid that the whole thing was dumb. I mean, it's
Well,
like, come on.
I read some, or saw a meme or something like that about, Obi Wan, hides out on planet to watch over blah blah blah, dresses just like a Jedi. And so again, what is it?
Wear a T-shirt.
What?
That says, I love that.
Right. I mean, don't hassle me. I'm local.
Wear sunglasses. Did that not create sunglasses on?
Yeah, surely
it is a desert planet.
Yeah, you would
Right,
think that sunglasses would be normal. So, I mean, what is it with what's the deal with these shows? I mean, all of the Star Wars shows, seemingly, right? I mean, they are just so full of plot holes. Again,
oh my God,
are they just for kids and we're picayune about it? And my thing that I thought was kind of nutty in this was in the Vader scene, the fight scene, is Obi-Wan's in the tunnels with whoever the woman was and little Leia, and he's like, oh, you guys go, I'll meet you at the ship, or whatever he does. And he's going to go back and fight Vader for whatever reason. First of all, it seems like, or maybe it doesn't seem like, was Vader able to sense that Obi-Wan was a couple of yards away hiding behind the door? And
that's what I'm guessing.
But again, it's like, okay, well, what? So anyway, Obi-Wan says that, hey, I'll catch up with you later. And they were in a tunnel. And then, unless I fell asleep, which is highly possible, all of a sudden the scene shifts and Obi-Wan's at the sand mill or whatever, just like in the middle of this old construction site or something, just kind of wandering between these dunes or something. It never shows them is that right next door? And I don't know. It just, the whole thing seemed very odd.
Or what about this? When the third sister, or the third sister finally figures out, wait a minute, there's something with this building. She finds the tunnel, right? Now, this is after they closed the door.
Yeah.
Leia and the girl took off down the tunnel. Obi-Wan has led Darth Vader away. She finally starts to investigate this building. She finds the tunnel.
And then all of a sudden,
realizes it's a tunnel. Leia tells that rebel that's with her, you got to go help Obi-Wan. What tunnel is there multiple exits to this tunnel?
Because she's on the other side.
Because she's on the other side.
The Inquisitor woman's on the other side all of a sudden.
Is now on the other side and has already killed the person that's going to smuggle them off planet. So, how long is this tunnel? It's either incredibly short or incredibly long. It doesn't make any sense.
I caught that as well. It was wait a minute, what did I miss here?
I would like to throw it out there to Disney or HBO Max and all these people that they could hire me to just sit back and say, this is ridiculous. Y'all shouldn't.
You need a bullshit detector. You need a bullshit detector.
You need someone that knows canon. Bullshit detector can no plot device. Plot holes can say, oh, that's a plot hole there. I mean, god damn. I mean, someone that says, why are we dressing Obi-Wan like a Jedi? Shouldn't he wear something different? I mean, just anything.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, here's the thing: is you've got Ewan McGregor that's played this character for 20 plus years. Why isn't he saying, "Hey, this doesn't really make sense"?
Right.
He's just along for the ride.
Have I lost my powers here? Why wouldn't I do something to maybe show that I'm fogging up Anakin's mind or something like that?
Let me ask y'all this. Let me ask you guys this again. Why am I putting this meat in my pocket? I've done it 3 times.
What's my motivation here?
What's going to come into play later on? Or, I mean,
what about this? Hey guys, you realize at the end of Revenge of the Sith, I knew that Anakin became Darth Vader, right? There's a whole scene where I see him become Darth Vader. Are we just not going to reference that at all?
I don't remember that. But okay.
Yeah, there's a whole scene at the end where he's watching Palpatine. It's on a video screen, but he's watching Palpatine after Anakin killed the younglings.
Okay. Yeah.
And Palpatine goes, "Rise, Lord Vader." Well, so Palpatine was Darth Sidious.
Right.
He's calling Anakin Lord Vader.
Right.
How stupid is
Again,
Obi-Wan?
It proves Podman Ron's theory that Jedis are nothing but cowards. and
I
useless.
know, that's another one. I mean, Obi Wan, he's a freaking coward. He's like a wuss.
And yeah, he didn't try to stop Darth Vader. While Darth Vader's killing those people through the town, Obi-Wan's like peeking through the blinds. Then he's like, I'll lure him away.
Well,
Feet don't fail me now.
He was about to kill Owen. I mean, not him, Darth Vader,
the Inquisitor,
but third sister or whatever the fuck, or whoever. And he's just hiding and crouching back like, oh shit, I hope you don't wrap me
It's about to go down.
I mean, you would think, again, you know that his mission is to protect the children at all costs, or that's what we're assuming that mission is, right? But you would still say that to keep killing Uncle Owen, could he, and maybe this goes back to what I said at the beginning, does he have any Jedi powers left to like make a chandelier fall on the guy or something like that? Right?
Well, all he's got time on his hands.
Power of hiding out. I mean,
he's like Buster on Arrested Development. He's good at just hiding behind things.
I mean, he's good at that.
He's got all the talent in the world on his hands. He could be practicing, but I guess not.
Chopping up the whale meat.
Yeah, chopping up the whale meat.
And which, by the way, when he's at that job, we're assuming 8 hours a day, he's not looking after Luke. So what the fuck,
know,
right?
Who's watching fucking Luke? Obi-Wan.
Anyway. Oh, wow.
Jackass.
Now, people have not picked up on the whole Vader one yet. That one will start to hit.
Yeah.
Like people start to, wait a minute, he should know who Vader is. This doesn't make sense. The big one so far has been the Grand Inquisitor, right? Because, PMR, are you aware of this one?
No, what is it?
So the Grand Inquisitor was the big bad in Rebels Season 1, right? Which was Dave Filoni. Now, if you look at the timeline, Obi-Wan is set 9 years before the Battle of Yavin. 9 years before. And you can tell because of Leia's age and Luke's age, right? So it's 10 years after Padme dies, 9 years before the Battle of Yavin, because they're 19, right? So Rebels is 5 years before the Battle of Yavin, because it's actually like, and it goes to like 1 year before the Battle of Yavin. So it's like as the Rebel Alliance really starts to build steam and becomes a threat to the Empire, right? So Grand Inquisitor, who gets killed at the end of the very first episode of this, is the main 9 years before the Battle of Yavin, is the main bad guy 5 years before the Battle of Yavin.
So they've killed him before he's.
They killed him before he died in the show in Rebels.
God. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know. I never watched Rebels, so I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's like, what the hell? Like, how?
Well, then there's that big controversy that people are slamming the third sister because the girl can't act worth the crap in it. So everybody's like saying that people are just being racist about that. I'll argue that no one in Star Wars can really act. I mean, my God.
We're all questioning Ewan's decisions at the moment. So let me ask you this: why is this such a hard thing to? Why is it so difficult? I mean, everybody loved Mandalorian season 1 because it was like, oh my God, this is fantastic. It's a show about a man. I'm sure if you go back and rewatch that, there's tons of holes and problems with that. But generally speaking, everybody kind of liked it, right? Then season 2 came out, and then Boba Fett, and everything's gone downhill. Why? And is this part of Disney? Are the Marvel movies all going downhill, or what?
Well, the Marvel movies have not yet, but it's the same thing with well, I know you'll disagree, but it's the same thing with like Picard and Star Trek. I mean, they can get the stars back together. They come up with the basic idea, which is not a bad idea. Enough. But then it's the execution. It's like they don't have anybody, and I'm not kidding. They need someone like me or Brian or you or some fanboy that's, can sit back and say, oh, guys, this is a plot hole. You don't need to. it seems like they don't have anybody. I don't know if they're just surrounded with a bunch of yes men that just go, "Oh, that sounds great. Just go with that," or they don't have anybody at all. I think
it's twofold. I think they've got writers that don't understand the source material. Showrunner does, right? A showrunner understands, but you've got writers that have got to write this to make sense week to week, and they don't understand the source material, or they're not invested in the source material, and so they've got a Bible of what the guy that played Grand Inquisitor, he said he never watched Rebels. His character, was in Rebels. He was the big bad guy. He never watched it. Never bothered even watching it. But he's going to go play the character. How do you do that?
Get about a committee, a committee of 10 geeks, 10 nerds that have watched Star Wars since the very beginning, and you get them together, and then they got to look at every fucking story and approve it.
It feels like that would be easy enough to do. Yeah.
It seems like, it would be. And hell, you wouldn't even have to pay them much. Fuck. But it seems like they never do that.
They need a nerd
consultant on
brain trust.
They really do. They have that for police TV shows. You have a consultant on there to tell them, this is the way you do this, this, and that. Why would you not have a nerd consultant for Star Wars, Star Trek? Just something. Especially when you're dealing with canons that are 40 years, or 50 or 60 years with Star Trek. I don't know. To me, they just shit the bed all the time. It's a constant. You get all these people together. You got Ewan McGregor, for God's sake, to reprise this role, and he's good in it, but he's got a lot to work with. Good Lord.
Well, let me lay this out for you too. So I went over the whole. This is 9 years before the Battle of Yavin. 9 hard years for Obi Wan.
Oh, okay. So 9 years. This is 9 years before.
This is 9 years before we see Alec Guinness.
Really?
Obi Wan.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
You know what they need to do? Like in the last episode, he has a battle where his energy is zapped and it makes him age. That's what I do.
Oh, sure.
That makes sense.
Well, we kind of saw that with the Palpatine or whatever.
Yeah,
so that's something workable.
They can do something like that. Yeah, they can do that. And then that would explain that. But they don't care. They don't care about canon at all anymore.
Well, here's the thing.
I was going to say, like Princess Leia, here she's having this whole big adventure with Ben Kenobi, Obi Wan Kenobi, and then she acts, in Star Wars, she don't even know, she's consoling Luke, who knew Obi Wan for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, she went on this whole adventure with Ben Kenobi. Yeah.
But it does kind of make you say, okay, well, the whole help me Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope or whatever. Like, okay, well, so they, now it's sort of like, oh, well, now we know that's why she trusts him or whatever. But then they forget about that. Yeah.
They forget about it. Yes. Or how about this? They want to hide the fact that Vader's going to show up. Right? They want to deflect that Vader's going to be the bad guy as long as possible.
Right.
So who did they prop up as the bad guy? Grand Inquisitor. All the images you saw were going to be Grand Inquisitor.
Right.
So they pulled a character out of Rebels that people felt fondly about, made him the red herring, but then shit on the character.
Oh yeah,
and created a conflict with the show that people like. It was like, oh, people like this show. Use that character as our fame. Oh wait, no, we don't care about that show. We just know that people are going to recognize this character. So fuck that show, which is only like 4 years old. Screw that show and the canon from that show, so we can hotshot this one character, so people don't realize Vader's going to show up in episode 3.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand what they're doing. We're watching it, of course, and we're all going to. But
well, it'll be interesting. Again, it's not great by any means, but I would say that so far I'm more interested in this than I was at this point with Boba Fett, maybe. So
it is better than Boba Fett.
Yeah. All right, switching over to where are we going next? The Boys. What about The Boys? Talking about
Let's do The Boys.
So I've seen part of the first episode of that, and I can't remember how it ended. So I'm going to say I fell asleep during it, but they're just, I think Alex had wrote that he thinks it's jumped the shark a little bit. They're just making shit up, or not making shit up, but they're just trying to be almost like Family Guy, where Family Guy was great at the beginning, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so blue, this is so humorous, and now it's like almost a parody of itself, to where it's like, this is just stupid, right? No?
I don't think it's. I don't mind. I like the story, the way the story's going. What I didn't like, it's like they've got to up themselves, like. Yeah. We did this last season, so now we got to do this, where a guy walks into, shrinks and goes into a guy's penis and blows him up because he enlarges him while he's in the guy's penis. I mean, it's like they're trying to constantly up the death scene.
Right.
And that kind of gets old after a while. Like, the basic story, like, I love, Homelander, how he's just becoming even more psychotic, and he's kind of realized. And he tells, spoilers to people who haven't watched it, he tells Starlight that, release this video of me letting this plane crash. I don't care. Once you release it, then I have nothing to, be good about. And,
nothing to lose. I'll just kill. Yeah. I'll just take over the world. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was pretty fucking intense. So I was like, oh, that's pretty wild. So the story's there.
I prefer their love and adulation, but if I can't have that, fear's not bad either.
I thought that was really cool, and I was like, okay, So now you've got this. I mean, he is the Top Gun. I mean, they're not. Everybody's scared to death of him. So that part's interesting, but this constant thing about let's up the death scenes and how gruesome we can do, and it gets old after a while. It's like, ugh. All right. But I enjoyed it. Alex did say that, so I thought it was going to not be as good as the other two seasons. But, yeah, I actually found myself liking it just as much as the other seasons.
How about that?
So, yeah. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, it's like they're kind of torn between we're getting off the source material now. So
I only read the first few books. So
so you're to the point where if they are still using the source material, the Homelander storyline is going to be wrapping up. The Homelander part of this. So, or they're going to be going in a completely different direction with Homelander. And that's the breakout character is Homelander. Yeah. So I don't think they are, right? But then you've also got where they're trying to kind of flesh out and build the world so they can have other series, right? They've already said they're going to be doing the series around like the X-Men of that universe, right? So it's the kill with the termite, which is like in the first episode, very early on in the first episode. Yeah, they were trying to get like that guffaw shot, death. It didn't really land. But now, last season, when they rammed the boat into that whale, like Deep thought he was going to stop him with that whale, and they just ran straight, headlong into that whale, and it exploded. That did land. So, some of that, it wasn't my favorite part. I know why they did it, and just move on.
Yeah.
I've liked the thing for me is Butcher, and I guess they kind of fixed it towards the third episode. Butcher wasn't acting like Butcher. It's weird to me, this whole dynamic with Huey and Starlight and, all of the Vought people, where they kind of have this like interim sort of peace going on, which is just kind of weird to me.
Right.
And the way it ends is you realize that the person that's the head of the department Huey works for was working for Sitwell all along. So she was just a Vought, figurehead put in place to pretend like they were trying to regulate superhumans.
Right.
The Starlight and Homelander stuff is interesting. right? Like the way that's and I kind of find it's interesting, like some of the commentary stuff they make, like, they're doing America's Next Top Superhero or whatever, the reality show. I think the thing that was the most interesting was when they went to that, when they were trying to interview, they're trying to find Soldier Boy, and they go, and Laurie Holden's character, Crimson Cowl? Oh,
yeah.
But they're at this, like, Disney World. It's like a Disney World for Vaughn, right? Yeah. And there's roller coasters, all that stuff. Did you see they spent a lot of time in Maeve's area and all the stuff that was there?
No.
They had, like, there was a restaurant called BLM BLTs. Black Lives Matter BLTs was one of them. Oh. One of them was woke. Oh man, what was it? It was all of these like they had
activist stuff, like
activist stuff that they were trying. It was like corporate activism. And how thinly veiled that stuff really is.
Right.
They're just trying to brand Black Lives Matter so you buy a sandwich. They're just trying to, to brand, these different activist, groups in order to monetize, just to get them to buy stuff.
Right.
Which is flatly, like, all of the stuff we talk about now, like all the stuff with corporate America, where they're adding characters and changing characters and making this happen and making that happen, pushing these narratives and these agendas like we talked about on the last episode. It's not because they believe any of this stuff or they care about any of this stuff.
Right.
They do it because if they do it, they can monetize another segment and bring more and make more money. They're not doing it because they believe in the cause. They're not doing it because they care about the cause. They're only doing it just to make more money. And they're doing it in the most veiled, insulting way possible. And when they showed Black Lives Matter, BLM BLTs, I was like, holy shit, that like nails it.
I didn't see that. I'll go rewatch that. I didn't see that.
Go rewatch that episode. Yeah, it's episode 2. I should have written them down. There were several like restaurants and rides and stuff that had like really like I think one was like it was woke something or the woke world or something like that. So,
yeah. So I mean, the show itself is. I mean, to me, it's still interesting. So I'll
okay. You'll continue with it.
I will continue. Oh, yeah, I'll continue with it. Actually, when did season 2 come out? It seems like seems like they got it out. Season 3 out pretty fast.
Season 2 was this time last year.
Okay, wow.
That's pretty quick compared to things like Stranger Things.
Yeah. Which was 3 years in the making.
3 years in the making. All right. So boys, we still have a few more episodes. Probably still, I'm imagining it's like 8 episodes.
I'd say about 5 more episodes.
Stranger Things. I think I've only watched 2 episodes of that as well, maybe 3. I'm not sure, but I'm not caught up on what everything is so far for this first part of the 4th season. What do you guys think of Stranger Things? Other than the soundtrack and reliving the 80s all over again, reliving the 80s all over again. We kind of find the group of kids are all separated out, which is fine. I mean, I think that's kind of reflective of reality a little bit. But my problem is that, and this is what happens. There's too many stars in the shows now. You got all the adult people are stars, including the guy that's helping out what's her face, Winona Ryder, the conspiracy theory guy, and Hopper, all
Murray.
that. So it's like everybody has. The only way you can tell a story is to break everybody out into their own little groups, and they go off on their own little adventures, and then presumably they'll all meet up at the end and save the day. That's kind of what happened last season.
I was going to say that's what happened last season.
And it seems like they're doing the same thing this season.
Yeah, that's the part I don't
Yeah.
like. And
Yeah, I agree.
There's some people's stories I like better than others. Like I could give two shits about. Actually, Elle's story to me is kind of boring. It's like, you know, I know we're getting backstory, from her, but it just drags on and on and on and on. And the same with the David Harbour story. You know, it's like it's like, oh my God, just get rescued already or escape already. You know, why don't we?
You just want to follow the goofy guy, right?
Right.
The video store gang.
I like the video store gang. I
Steve.
like the Scooby gang. You know, that I like him. I like Max. I like, you know, Robin. You know, I like Nancy. I mean, that crew, Dustin, I like that crew is fun to follow. And it's kind of gotten like Nancy's boyfriend. What's his name?
Oh, yeah. That's horrible, right?
Well, he looks terrible.
Jonathan.
He looks like he's like 40 years old trying to look like he's 18. I mean, that dude is not aging well at all.
Something's not going on. And I would say that Nancy's not looking too healthy.
Yeah, they're none of.
I don't know if it's
that group.
Yeah, I don't know.
Was it not jarring?
30s or something.
Was it not jarring that Nancy still has a year of high school left?
Yeah, that's why
I thought.
Yeah, I thought she was like.
I thought they all graduated.
Yeah, I don't understand it anymore.
Yeah, I got confused about all that too. So, but with that being bitched about, I enjoyed it. I mean, I love it. 5 out of 5. No, I started watching it one morning. It was like I came in late, like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I'll put on the first episode and I'll watch the rest sometime or another. And I got hooked with the first episode. And I stayed up all night and binge watched it. And
wow.
it was good. I feel like it hit its peak though.
Yeah.
When they rescued Max and you thought she was going to die, but she jumps over in the graveyard and, you know, they rescued her. I think that was the peak for me. And it was like, okay, it was great up until then. And then after that, it just seemed like they just dragged it out. It's like, until the last 10 minutes of it, when you find out that, you know, who the real bad guy is in the Upside Down universe. So, Brad, you probably hadn't gotten that far. So
you had a kill in the first episode. You had a kill in the second episode. The third episode, you realized that Vecna's coming for Max.
Right.
And then the fourth episode, Max gets saved. Now, you had a third kill in that episode, and then Max gets saved. So you after that, then it shifts hard into the L stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's weird. It's like, I wonder how available David Harbour was, because I feel like all of his stuff could have been filmed in like 2 days.
And
you know what I mean?
Right. And he was probably filming Black Widow during all that bullshit.
So they could have filmed, they could keep him off, filming his own thing. He's not really intersecting with any of the other characters until Murray and Joyce show up. And even that's only like just a couple of scenes. So you could have David Harbour shoot for a week and a half for his whole thing, and then come back to have everybody else.
But the funny thing is just like what you just said, though, is you really didn't. I mean, they could have kept him dead because he really doesn't contribute anything to what's going on.
He will save the day at the end.
I mean, yeah, they could have just said that he stayed dead. I mean, because what's the point in him being rescued? You know, I mean,
yeah, I don't feel like they're going to be back in time because we have 2 episodes left. Start on July 1st. And I mean, it's going to be like a 2-hour episode and an hour and a half episode, but still, I don't know. And they said that the final episode has an hour-long battle scene, right, where they're in the Upside Down. I don't think Hopper and Joyce and Murray have time to get back in the fight at this point. It's just Hopper will be back for next season. And this time, it's who's going to ride in on the white horse will be Elle, right, at the end. Right. But there it's all she's gonna Fonzie it, or she's gonna Avengers Endgame it, right?
Or you say they don't have time, but Russia was able to open up a portal into the Upside Down, so that's the way they can all get back.
But nobody knows that it's happening. Joyce and Murray don't know anything's happening.
Yeah,
they left.
But here's the thing. maybe that's the way they can escape Russia because, they're trapped. So how do you escape Russia? Let's go through the portal and maybe try to figure out our way back.
Then they just run into everybody else.
But as far as they know, it's closed on the Hawkins side.
They don't know that.
So, yeah, I don't think they have time to get back in play before the end of the season. I think it's going to be, can the Scooby Gang fight Vecna without L? And you're going to think somebody's going to die. It better not be Steve Harrington. What? If they kill Steve, it's going to be like when they killed Glenn in The Walking Dead. They will lose viewers if they kill Steve.
They will. Yeah, he's the best part.
He is.
He's the best part.
And I even like the Robin girl. I like her too. I mean,
they do a good. Again, that team who is the only one you care about watching.
Yeah, that's the only team you care about watching. It's even Mike, who was the main character of the first season.
Oh,
first couple.
Yeah.
Like, he's pushed way on the side.
Yeah.
Like, he's not doing much of anything. And that kid is not aging well either. He doesn't look old.
Which kid is it? Which one?
Mike.
Who?
Well, all of them look weird. All of them just kind of look weird.
Weird as fuck, man.
Yeah. That's the old...
None of attractive.
That's the old child actor nightmare. It's cute kid, ugly adult. We're getting into the ugly adult phase.
Yeah, because they aren't kids. I mean, they're 25-year-olds, whatever they are. Yeah, so they're well out of their cute kid phase.
They're well out of their cute kid phase.
What's really weird is I think the writers just hate Steve anyway because, I mean, they took Nancy from him, and then he becomes friends with Dustin.
They took him away.
Now, Dustin's friend, they took him away. Dustin's friends with the other older guy. So then they gave him Robin, and now they've kind of taken Robin away because she's trying to be friends with Nancy. So it's like, Steve don't have anybody, man.
Nobody ever picked Steve.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck?
But, so the first, I guess, my review. First episode, I was having a hard time. Like, first episode felt like they were taking a lot of liberties and really trying to beat you over the head with new characters, especially Eddie. Like the whole thing where he was like standing on the table in the lunchroom. I was like, this is pretty cringy. But as it got into the season, I think my favorite character this season, aside from Steve, is probably Max.
Yeah, I like Max too. She's actually been my favorite too.
Max, and who doesn't love a good Kate Bush?
Kate Bush loves Stranger Things. I'll tell you that.
She should, yeah. Like they're playing that song on rotation. Like
that's hilarious.
And I kind of like that idea too, that it's an earworm. Like the earworm is what's saving her, right? I like the whole D&D as the backdrop and Satan worshiping and all that kind of stuff, and that's why they think they're Satan worshipers. And
I mean, it's kind of funny. I mean, it does play into. I mean, it has a very, very big '80s feel to it. They do succeed in that. I mean, with the way things were back then, with like D&D and all that crap.
Yeah. Oh, and the clothes are hideous. But the clothes are spot on with late 80s.
Absolutely, yeah.
The shit that we wore. But yeah, I've enjoyed it a lot. If they hadn't tied the L thing back to Vecna, it would have been really disjointed. So I guess it's a good thing they did that. I liked the whole. That this does tie in with. I mean, it does come full circle. Where did the crack come from? Well, now we know. Right. What was the first sort of contact with the Upside Down? Well, now we kind of know. Right. Why L was the only one in the facility. Right. What happened to the program?
Right.
So I enjoy all that. The guy that's playing, the guy that's playing one is creepy as hell. Like, just no makeup or anything. He's creepier when he's not wearing the prosthetics than when he is. But
the one that's playing who? playing?
Vecna in 1.
Oh, yeah. He is.
Yeah.
He is a creepy.
He's creepier without the prosthetics.
Absolutely.
But I've enjoyed the season. I don't know that it's a weaker season though. I will say it's a weaker season.
I would say it's. I like season 3's been my favorite, and I think this is my second favorite season. I wasn't really a big fan of season 1. I watched it. It was everybody else was watching it. I think season 2 is a little bit better, but I really love season 3. And this one's been okay. It's got like a Nightmare on Elm Street kind of feel to it too.
Oh, and they've gone more hard.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
oh yeah, definitely
than it had been. So we've still seen, the one scene that I'm kind of dying for, and it's in the trailer, but it wasn't in this so far, is Eddie standing on top of the trailer, playing the guitar, like jamming out to the guitar, and I guess that's a distraction, right?
The music, yeah.
And it's like, I wonder how they get there. Well, you've got the hole in the trailer, and so he can plug in the amp into and then bring the guitar out into the upside down because the portal's just open. So that should be a pretty epic scene.
Yeah, because all the stuff in the upside down is what's they'll have the guitar and all that shit in the upside down. So
yeah, that's how he's able to do it. Which that even answers that. But and then Steve. Did you read this? Like, there's a big movement that people want Joe Carey, right? Is the guy who plays Steve? They want Joe Carey to play Wolverine. Have you seen that?
Oh God, no.
Yeah.
Why?
Because it was.
I wish fanboys would quit that. Every time they have long something in it, that person's got to play the most popular character now for everything.
Because of his hairy chest.
Oh my God, what's wrong with people? Jesus Christ.
Oh.
All right, so
Stranger Things, very good so far.
I'll keep watching. We've been just watching, like one episode a week. We've been watching it weekly. We haven't binged what we could so far, just to enjoy it, just to savor it a little.
Tear off the Band-Aid, Brad. Just watch it all.
I don't want to commit that much time every. I'm good with once a week.
The problem's going to be all this shit got filmed last year, and these kids look this old a year ago.
Yeah,
I don't think they started shooting season 5.
Maybe
what the hell are these kids going to look like by the time season 5 comes around?
Well, you remember this is going to seem like it's off topic, but do you remember that episode of Always Sunny that they go to the ski slopes, Brian?
Yeah.
You know the guy that played, I don't know who played it, but it was he's the one that was having a war with Danny DeVito's character. But he wore a black wig, and he's trying to look young.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Jonathan, that guy. He's just...
All right.
Look. Yeah, because he looks.
I think that is too.
Yeah,
and with that,
Jonathan looks old in the face, but he's wearing this like wig. It looks like his hair's long. He's trying to be like a young-looking guy, but he looks old in the face. I mean, it's just weird. It's
he's got smoker's face. He's got that smoker face. Yeah.
God, every time you see him, it's like
so lady.
He's got that 3 packs a day grayish sort of pallor. To his face, yeah.
It is just fucking weird, man. Like, ugh.
Yeah. There you have it.
Yeah. All right, well, very.
So what do you give Stranger Things, PMR?
I give it a 4 out of 5.
I'll agree with that.
And I would have given it a 5 if if it would have been a little bit shorter and it didn't drag on that episode, and some of that Ellie stuff wouldn't drag, and some of the Harbor stuff wouldn't drag, but yeah, like I say, it kept my interest at the beginning. It just, and I'm sure it'll end strong. So.
Yeah, we've got 2 episodes left.
Yeah, 2 episodes left.
The last episode is like 2 hours long or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, they're making it up, I guess, by making you wait. They give you a 2-hour episode instead of just a 28-minute one or something. So, I guess that's fair enough, right?
Fair enough.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah. 4 out of 5.
Well, very good. Yeah. So, I mean, we're right on it. We can finish up, or not finish up, but keep on with the boys and Obi Wan, I guess.
We got Jurassic World or whatever.
Jurassic World, whatever. When does that come out?
Friday.
Okay.
July 10th?
June 10th. It's Friday. This Friday, dude.
Oh, is this Friday?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh. So we got Jurassic World. We've got, something starts this week.
Miss Marvel.
Nope. Oh, yeah, Miss Marvel starts this week. I will not be watching that.
Oh, come on. You gotta watch.
I have no interest whatsoever in that show. Now, something else starts next week. Oh, What We Do in the Shadows, which got renewed for seasons 5 and 6.
Yeah, I still like it, but I didn't watch this last season.
It's good.
I'll try to watch. I'll try to watch
Colin Robinson. God damn, I love Colin Robinson. And Nadia.
And we got Thor coming up in about a month or so, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Taika Waititi, we got Thor coming up, so let's see how badly he can screw that up. And then they'll give him a Star Wars, something to screw up on Star Wars.
So what else is coming out in streaming other than Miss Marvel? I would have thought, I was kind of surprised Miss Marvel's coming out while Obi Wan is still going, because they usually been waiting like a week after one ends to start another one. So,
well, I think they're doing it because, Obi-Wan's only 6 episodes, so maybe they're trying to ramp something back up before they see that dip again. Maybe they've learned something about, we get a bunch of cancellations when the show ends,
and they think Miss Marvel's going to keep that from dipping. So,
I don't know. I mean, I may be wrong, but to me it looks interesting. I don't really actually mind Miss Marvel.
I will say, and I thought this a little bit with She-Hulk as well. It's like, well, at least it feels like maybe they'll go through some teen angst type stuff and all that kind of bullshit with Miss Marvel. But if they do it right and do it kind of like Spider-Man or something, it's like, okay, that could be enjoyable.
But something different.
At the very most, it looks like, well, you may actually have some superheroes and supervillains in this TV show, which you can't really say about most of the Marvel TV shows. Well, they don't really have a whole lot of heroes and villains in them.
Especially after that mess of Moon Knight. I mean, my God. I mean, I just want to get back to the basics,
Right.
And I think that's why I liked Hawkeye so much, because it was just basic bad guy, good guy,
But even with that, I mean, and Hawkeye was definitely the best. But again, there's no superheroes type stuff. It doesn't feel like. I want to see people with capes flying around and not going inside of other people's body parts and exploding. It's like, let's just kind of have some. And maybe that's what the CW shows were. It was just kind of good, clean superhero fun. But then again, they became a caricature of themselves, to where it's like, okay, ease up on the drama bullshit and try to have some characters here that are interesting.
I will say the best show, really, a superhero show on TV that I started watching, I'm a little bit behind, is Superman and Lois.
Oh. Superman and Lois is pretty good.
On CW, I'm only on 3rd episode of season 2. I was late watching season 2, and that's a great show. That's really doesn't get the credit it really deserves. If you want to watch a pretty good
superhero
family show that's kind of interesting, superhero show also. The family dynamic and the characters in that are just as interesting as the superhero stuff. It really plays out really well. I mean, and the special effects for a TV show are just very good.
Yeah, we've got Peaky Blinders season 6, the final season, on Netflix next week. You need to watch Peaky Blinders.
Gotta watch it, PMR.
I'll put it on the list.
So Peaky Blinders season 6, and then we've got something else. Umbrella Academy season 3. is coming out the week after. So.
Did they change Ellen Page or whatever? Elvin Page or whatever?
Yeah, she's now Elliot Page. Page.
But is he a boy on there, or is he a dude on Umbrella Academy? I mean, yeah. How did they change that?
We don't know yet. We got to watch the show.
Oh, okay.
So. Something about the boys I was going to mention. They've already changed Black Noir, because Black Noir in the comic was, I'm not spoiling anything at this point because they changed it, but Black Noir was like a failed experiment of the Homelander. So when they took the mask off, he was like a mentally disabled Homelander.
Interesting.
Oh.
And so they changed it in episode 3 of Boys season 3.
Oh, okay.
You finally see Black Noir without the mask, and now you know why he's mute.
Interesting. All right, got something to look forward to. I got to finish up that episode 1 though.
You got to finish episode 1 before you can get to any of this.
Doubtful I'll get to episode 3, but maybe.
Yeah, it's good, Brad. You need to watch it.
There's just, that's my problem. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I'm not.
There's a shitload of good stuff. I mean, just gotta take the time to watch it, bro.
Yeah, my life is complete without watching it, I guess is my thing. Who has time? Although I did watch all of Killing It. I'll promote Killing It again for Craig Robinson.
That seems stupid.
Oh, God. All right, fine. It's stupid. Everything I watch
It's really no different. Yeah, it's no different than, PMR just told you to watch this. You're like, I'll see. You tell them to watch that. That's stupid. Why would I watch that?
I'm used to it, Brian. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good here.
It's not PMR approved.
It's not PMR
approved. That's fine. All right. Well, so I will try to watch a couple more episodes of stuff and get caught up on things. And
all right.
PMR, maybe you can watch the Norm Macdonald sit down, stand up special on Netflix that he recorded from his house mere hours before his death.
Yeah, I need to watch it. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I love Norm Macdonald.
Rip. Hey, but we didn't have any celebrity deaths this past couple of weeks, it doesn't feel like, or anyone worth talking about. I mean, John Bon Jovi's bassist died. Ray Liotta died. But forget about it.
We didn't do Ray Liotta.
That's okay. We'll do it next. We'll catch him next round.
You know, do your because you kept talking about Goodfellas in all the past few weeks.
Holy shit!
With your Sopranos.
Damn, dude.
You're gonna do your hey.
We didn't talk about Ray Liotta.
Perfect.
Ray Liotta's dead.
How old was he? And what did he die of?
He was 78, and he died of heart attack, I believe. I don't know.
That is not true.
It could be. I mean,
but you know what? He played Frank Sinatra.
The
Rat Pack. That was a good movie. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, it sounds horrible.
Don Cheadle was Sammy Davis Jr.
That sounds stupid.
Sounds horrible. What? That's awesome, man. Ray Liotta nailed it.
All right.
He was 68. And what did he die of?
He died in his sleep.
67.
What, do you have a birthday?
Yeah, he just died in his sleep. They didn't say what it was.
Yeah, probably drugs.
No. Although he wasn't looking very good. The last
he looked... Well, he hasn't looked good in 20 years, though, so...
He's got the smoker face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that. It's like his face puffed up. Like,
that's the thing is...
It's puffed up.
I was just...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really weird, man.
Well, it's the same thing I was saying about Jonathan. It looks like it's like grayish. He had like this grayish pallor to him because he smokes 3 packs a day.
Well, by next episode, I want you to come up with an Weird Al Yankovic parody of Lady Gaga's Poker Face with Smoker Face.
Smoker Face.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. Well, we'll wait for that. But until
Ray,
next time.
Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta. He's got a smoker face.
There you go. The tune's right.
I didn't even need a week, Brad.
You didn't even need a week. Look at that. I can't even get caught up on Stranger Things by the time you do this.
You know what? Next thing you know, Weird Al's going to be singing that song.
Yeah. And then I can sue him.
Yeah. All right. But until next time, Brian.
Save it for the podcast.
Until next time, because Brad's got to go.